day one when we were setting up Ink and Spindle, being ethical and sustainable was key to setting this studio up. So we wouldn't ever consider doing anything but that. It's just not an option. We're only interested in making things locally and by hand. You know, we make everything here in this studio. We design here, we print here, we sew here. We do it all. We love the process of seeing the hand in our products. So every print isn't the same as the print before. There's always, you know, a little discrepancy with, you know, ink, fabric, whatever the combination is. There's always a little bit of difference. Yeah,
and people really value that, because if you just get something that's from China, it's got a very uniform, flat, unexciting feel. And I think people really like to be able to relate to the process in the finished product. You know, we love Melbourne, and we love working with other local designers in Melbourne. Everything that we do is already going to be priced to reflect the fact that it's done locally. I think it's really important to not try and be a jack of all trades, to try and specialise. For us, we're really efficient at designing and printing textiles, but we're not very efficient at making things, whereas there's somebody out there who has a great setup for making bags or a great setup for making cushions, and it's better to leave it to them, and then they can do it in a sort of profitable, competitive way. We collaborate with Wilkins and Kent, who they've got 2 stores, one in the city and one on Brunswick Street, and they take our fabrics and make them into a range of lamps. So that's great, and that's another way to get our fabrics out there and people recognising the designs.
Having them in the shop fronts there is really great exposure for us.
And then there's a curtain and blind manufacturer that we work closely with, and we've been working with a woman called Jackie from Reissued.
So we begin the design process with, more often than not, an idea that's been floating around in our head for a while, and we'll discuss it. Usually while we're printing, while we're doing something with our hands, a lot of discussion goes on, a lot of business meetings happen over the print table, so a lot of the design process happens there as well. And then we'll move on to, of course, sketching out ideas, doing finished drawings, and then more often than not we will import them into the computer and using Photoshop and Illustrator turn them into a specific repeat. We have 2 repeat sizes that we work with. Once we have that, the repeat sorted, we print it out full scale onto a film, circular film, and then expose it onto a screen. And our screen's quite large. They're 1.5 metres, or the printable area is 1.5 metres by, in some cases, 80. So.
Yeah, that sort of process of getting the repeat perfect is really crucial, so that, you know, when it comes to actually printing, that it's fairly streamlined and flawless. I feel like Design Made Trade kind of fills that gap between, say, a high-end design market and a trade show. It's kind of halfway in between, and that's perfect for us. A lot of the other trade shows out there just don't really fit our aesthetic and our model of business, so it's a good experience for us as well. It really forces us to kind of step up.
Having Design Made Trade as a marker in the year gives us that point where we have to go and we've got to, okay, well, we've got a deadline, we've got to actually do this, because otherwise we don't really have deadlines.
We don't work to seasons, so...
No.